Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC London, an amazingly stacked UFC Fight Night card. And on the prelims, we have an amazing fight between two bantamweight prospects, Jack Shore versus Timur Valiev. And this is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this fight. I'll be doing a bunch of UFC London prediction videos, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss them. But I'm absolutely hyped for this fight. And usually the UFC tends to, if they have two very hot prospects, they tend not to match them up. They tend to try to match make them in a way where they can make their way up the division rankings. But with the bantamweight division, the division is so stacked and so crazy good that they can afford to match two of these top prospects. And I absolutely love this fight. And this is one of my favorite fights on the UFC London card. And it's on the prelims. So you look at the tail of the tape. Jack Shore is 27 years old. Timur Valiev is 32. Jack Shore is 5'8". Valiev is 5'6". Jack Shore has a 71-inch reach. Valiev has a 67-inch reach. So a youth and a 4-inch reach advantage for Jack Shore. So if you look at Timur Valiev, he has 3 fights within the UFC. He made his UFC debut in August of 2020. And this fight is technically a no contest against Trevin Jones. I forget who Valiev was supposed to face originally, but they pulled out. Trevin Jones stepped in on short notice, and it looked like he was going to get absolutely destroyed. The first round, it was so close to a stoppage. Timur hurt him with a nasty body kick and then swarmed him for like 45 seconds. Could have arguably been stopped. Timur Valiev was just swinging brutal body shots and then mixing it up to the head. Trevin Jones was just shelling up against the fence, not defending himself. You have a case that it could have been stopped, but Trevin Jones survives and makes it onto the second round. And in the second round, Timur Valiev starts to slow down a little bit, and he gets clipped with a right hand, put down, and then TKO'd. And then after the fight, unfortunately, and this is really, really stupid, Trevin Jones tested positive for marijuana, so therefore the fight was turned into a no contest. So technically, Timur Valiev should be 2-1 in the UFC, but technically he's 2-0 in the UFC with 1 no contest. After that, he had 2 decision wins, one over Martin Day, where he just basically outstruck him and outgrappled him. And most recently, his most recent fight was in June of 21 against Ronnie Barcelos, which Ronnie Barcelos just got that massive comeback win recently. And this was a fight that could have arguably been a draw. The reason I say that is because Timur Valiev clearly won the first and third round, but you could make an argument that Ronnie Barcelos won the second round 10-8. It's up for debate. I personally probably would have scored it just 29-28 for Timur Valiev, but Barcelos hurt him badly in the second round, landed a nasty uppercut. I think he dropped him twice in this round, almost finished him, was very close to finishing him, and luckily, he was able to survive. The referee gave him enough time. Then he came back, recovered in the third round, and was able to win that third round after almost being stopped in the second round. So you look at him, doesn't have a lot of UFC experience, only the 3 fights, not against the best level of competition. Ronnie Barcelos is a legit competition. Outside of that, not the greatest of competition. His last official loss was a split decision back in February 2016. He's a completely different fighter than that. Moving on to Jack Shore. Jack Shore is 15-0. He's never lost a MMA fight, and he has 4 fights in the UFC. He won his first 2 by submission, rear naked choke, and then he won his last 2 by decision. His UFC debut was against Nolan Hernandez. He won this fight in the third round. He outclassed him this entire fight, and he ended up getting the rear naked choke in the third round. Second fight, similar situation, was landing on the feet, eventually gets him down, mixes in the takedowns very well, and submitted Aaron Phillips. He had a split decision against Hunter Azure back in April of last year, and his most recent win was September of 2021 against Ludwig Shalanan. Not against the elite of the elite as far as competition, but he went out there and put on a masterful performance, showing all the facets of his game. He was landing on the feet. He was striking very well. He really did not get touched in this fight. And on top of that, he was mixing in the grappling, perfectly timed takedowns, and just looked really good in this fight. And now we get to see these 2 prospects fight each other, and I'm super excited for this fight. And you have 2 guys. Jack Shore obviously is undefeated, but Timur, he's never been knocked out and he's never been submitted. I know technically he does have that TKO to Trevin Jones that I already talked about it. So it's very unlikely, I feel like, that one of these guys gets stopped. Both of these guys have very similar skill sets. Both these guys are really salvageable strikers. They're really good strikers. Not the best, most elite strikers by any means, but they majority want to grapple you and take you down. And one main difference I noticed between both of these guys, Jack Shore is like really composed and patient and picking his shots. And you have Timur Valiev, who's just really high energy. Most of the time he's pressing forward, throwing heavy power shots, just looking to take your head off. Doesn't have, Anthony Rumble Johnson KO power, but he's looking just to move forward and land nasty shots and then mix in the takedown occasionally. He wasn't able to take down Ronnie Barcelos. I think Ronnie Barcelos stuffed every single takedown. So he's not some, I know people think, he's from Dagestan, so he must be some Khabib Nurmagomedov level grappler. I don't think he's that level of grappling. But both these guys, just in general, are very well-rounded mixed martial artists where they mix in all facets of their game, the striking and the grappling. They're not just, trying to stuff the takedowns and strike, and they're not just trying to take you to the ground and look for a submission or ground and pound. So as far as my prediction for this fight, and I think this is a very close fight, I am going to go Jack Shore by decision. I just think he's so good just everywhere. He's shown he's really good in the clinch. He has really good striking. He has really good grappling as well. And just everything that he's shown so far just seems to be like very promising as far as he may make his way to the top of the bantamweight division. The guy has very high fight IQ. He'll hurt somebody and then he won't go crazy, gas himself out looking for the finish. There's been multiple times where he's had very close submissions, but maybe he's not in the right positioning, so he's kind of giving them up. Once was an arm triangle against, I can't remember who it was. The other was a rear naked choke where he had one hook in, and it looked like he was very close, but he decided to give it up and then cement the position. And I just really think Timur Valiev is going to come out, look to pressure Jack Shore. Jack Shore is just super calm and composed in every fight that I've seen him in. And I think he's going to pick his shots. I think he's going to back up. I think he's going to use his footwork. And I think he's going to outstrike Timur Valiev. I think it's going to be a close fight. But I think the difference in this fight is just the composure of Jack Shore. And he doesn't ever try to force the takedowns. He waits. He makes you think he's going to strike with you for the majority of the fight. And then he shoots in on a perfectly timed takedown, gets you off balance, and just takes you right to the ground. It's when you least expect it. And I love that. There's a lot of guys out there that just have the sloppiest takedown shots where they just leave themselves highly susceptible to get countered. Jack Shore is not one of those guys. He will have you 100% thinking that he's going to stand in front of you and strike with you, and then all of a sudden he shoots in on a takedown and mixes it up. He's got a high fight IQ. He's shown time and time again. But I think Timur Valiev could come out and win this fight as well. I think he probably has the power advantage in this fight. He has nasty body kicks. He has good striking as well. He's a good variety of attack, but so does Jack Shore. Jack Shore has a good variety of attack as well. Mixes in kicks, has great leg kicks, has a great jab, has a great 1-2. He's not throwing those wild looping punches where Timur Valiev kind of leans more towards throwing those wild looping punches, kind of looking to take your head off. But I think this is going to be a very interesting fight. I think that the grappling may cancel each other out. I don't think Valiev is going to be able to out-grapple Jack Shore. If I had to give an advantage, I think Jack Shore may have the advantage as far as the grappling. Like if you told me one of these guys went out there and took the other guy down and submitted him, I would go Jack Shore. I just think Jack Shore has more avenues to victory. I don't see him knocking him out and TKOing him, but at the same time, Timur Valiev, in 2 of his UFC fights, he's almost been finished by strikes. But I just don't think Jack Shore has that one, that touch of death, that one punch knockout power. So I don't think Valiev is going to get finished like that. But Jack Shore is so technical. Who knows? Valiev could rush in, kind of a little bit reckless and get clipped with a big right hand, check right hook or something like that and put out. But I think Jack Shore is just going to methodically pick him apart on the feet. I think Valiev is going to shoot in on takedowns, but they're going to be stuffed by Jack Shore. And I think occasionally Jack Shore is going to mix in takedowns. Even if he doesn't necessarily get them and they're stuffed, he's going to mix them in there to give Timur Valiev something to think about. I think if it does go to the ground, I think they probably kind of cancel each other out. I think maybe Jack Shore has a little bit of an advantage there. Jack Shore, throughout his career, of his 15 wins, he has 18 by submission. Of Timur Valiev's career, he has 2 wins by submission out of 18 wins. He's never been submitted himself. So that's why I just really think both guys have pretty good cardio. Both guys have gone a hard 3 rounds before. That's why I think Jack Shore is just going to pick him apart. I think it's going to be a close fight. I'm going to go 29-28 Jack Shore. I think Valiev will maybe sneak out a win in one of the rounds. It'll be really close, really back and forth. And I think this is going to be a great fight to tell us where both these young bantamweight prospects are. So let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.